Good morning. This is in response to Tamara Carr's reply. I am not Christian, I'm a Muslim. And I also have studied psychology for the last 8 years at different levels. And I have learned the depth of spirituality and the need of it in psychology through Carl Jung's psychology and discipline. Of course, when Jesus came across that man in the cave, that was the only way that he could explain to people at the time what was he suffering from. However, we have science in psychology that has been mostly evidence-based and proven based on the popularity and acceptance of it by the psychological institutions, that the good and the evil both reside in man. Kierkegaard says man is in trouble because he has always this tension, because he has the angel and the evil in him, and he has to find a balance between it. We also have seen that, as counseling does, Carl Jung emphasizes on self-awareness. You have to become aware of your shadows. And shadows are the things that you do not know about yourself. You have to become aware of them because you do not want to be caught by them through impulses. Once you become aware of what your vulnerabilities are, what are the things that you react to, and how maladapted they are, you start to get them integrated in you, and you're aware of them. In my holy book, Quran, God says to Muhammad, "Wal asr innal insana lafi khurs." God takes an oath to the length of the time that man is always in trouble, that man is always in danger from what is inside him, from his impulses. And not until he has that awareness of himself, he would be able to balance that. There's a plurality about the word, and there's a duality. We need the contradiction and differences and the contrast. Without the black, there is no white, and without white, there is no black. Without evil, good does not mean anything, and without good, evil doesn't mean anything. And after all, it's not about goodness, it's about wholeness. Because if you do not realize the evil in you, the shadow in you, then you would also do not realize the good in you, that you have to be able to balance that. The problem with the society is that we are not aware of anything that we do. We live an unconscious life by rushing through destination from one to another. We've forgotten how to enjoy the process. And in not knowing ourselves, we do not get to know our brothers either, or our sisters, because we start with the false assumption on who we are, and we're talking to somebody else who also has a false assumption and a false ego of who they are, and trying to communicate. We are isolated. We are lonely. And there is a need for us in core of us for elation. Our soul needs the community of our brothers. Our soul needs the structure of a religion. Our soul needs a spirituality, because we need to get connected to beyond and to divine. And if we cannot do that, they say, if you cannot find meaning in your life, if you do not come to appreciate and recognize yourself and the meaning that you're looking for in your life, you replace it with pleasure. We are pleasure-seeking individuals, because that's all is left for us. And that's the core of addiction. That's the core of many pathologies. We're running like blind moles, not knowing where we go. So this all goes back to self-awareness and getting to know yourself. And of course, there is a big need in us for a spirituality. We are lost in the desert of sounds. We are lost in cities of sin, hypnotized by sounds, by images that incite us inside our heads, through all those pings that we get from our smartphones. We are addicted to that. They stimulate the synapses in our mind. And we are so lost, and we are so afraid of getting to know ourselves, to think, contemplate, that we do anything to distract ourselves. Facebook, Instagram. And the problem of it is that there is no satisfaction in it. There is no constant, there is no long-term satisfaction in it. And we do it, we feel empty, and then we go back and do it again, because there is nothing else. We need connection to our community, to the people that we see in church. We need to respect each other's intention. We need to feel connection and some kind of safety. We need God to be there for us. We live a very isolated, lonely life. And of course, we need the spirituality. I have studied spirituality with Dr. Lisa Miller at Teachers College, Columbia University, and have also taught courses in Jungian psychology through art. at Teachers College, and there's a big emphasis. SMBI is Spirituality Mind Body Institute, and there's a big emphasis on even starting spirituality from early age. Lack of spirituality and the way it corrupts our souls, ourselves, our psyche is what ails us in all different levels, everywhere. In his red book, Carl Jung takes a trip not to heaven but to hell. It's a fantasy, it's a folly, but it has amazing depth to it. And he meets Satan. And Satan, evil, devil, brings it up that he is not the culprit because it's man who is doing this despicable. And Jung tries to accept and takes responsibility for shortcomings. For all the sin that man has done, for all the incapacities of human being. But at the end, it is the awareness. That's why we meditate. It is awareness. That's why we go to church. We need that community. We need that warmth. We need being together. We need to connect. And we need to accept, recognize, and evaluate the devil in us as necessary as the angel to us. And by recognizing the devil, you send him away. You become aware of him. And you don't caught by your impulses. We need a spirituality at all the levels in every society. I also want to suggest there's a book written by Dr. Miller about a spiritual child, which in a way she proves through scientific methods how much we need to start spirituality at young age. Psychology is a scientific tool. However, that is all we have to realize what we are, who we are. Rumi says, who is talking with my mouth? Who is seeing with my eyes? It is the who that matters, who you are. Maybe we all should look into that. Thank you.